prop that you believe one of the running backs are going to hit. Chiefs have been using Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Jerick McKinnon pretty effectively this postseason. Is it one of those guys, or are you going the other side?
Well, I would like to look at some of these Kansas City guys, but they're not on the board yet. So they don't seem to know who's going to get the rushes. So you go to the obvious play that's on the board, which would be Joe Mixon over his receiving prop of 28.5. His rushing prop is at 15 rushes, which tells us they're not expecting him to run the ball very often. He's obviously going to be on the field the entire game, so he'll probably get the ball through the air. Kansas City 29th in terms of fantasy points allowed to receiving running backs. They've allowed the 4th most receptions to receiving running backs, the 3rd most yards to receiving running backs. This number seemed a little too low for Joe Mixon in a game that we expect to be a shootout.
Alan, what do you think?
I'm right there with Pearce, man. On the Bengals side, I love the Mixon over 88.5 total yards prop. Much has been made of the 400 sacks that Burrow took versus Tennessee, and Kansas City watched that tape. The pressure is coming. The Bengals will need to run the ball and use the screen game to keep the pressure at bay. Kansas City is likely good with making Cincinnati throw the short stuff and run on first down, but if you're trying to win money here, Mixon crushed that number last week. Take the over 88.5 total yards.
Reid?
I don't know what these guys are seeing with Mixon, especially Pearce with his over his receiving. He had 50% routes run per dropback last week per Andrew Dickerson at PFF. That was the lowest of any running back. And Samaje Perine, since week, I believe, 17, had 91% the long down and distance snaps, and it's been around 70%. And so you're seeing Mixon give away a lot of those snaps in those long down and distance to Samaje Perine. I'm not saying that he's a better running back than Mixon, but he's getting factored in. So I like taking the over on, and so I'm like exactly opposite of Pearce. I like taking the over 56.5 rushing for Mixon because he's averaging around 16 attempts per game in the playoffs. And how do you keep the Chiefs at bay? You keep them on the sideline. You're going to have to try and do this. And we've seen Zach Taylor do positive EV or negative EV plays of rushing when he should be passing, and that's Mixon. So I like taking that, and I'm taking his under receiving. I think it's at 27.5 right now.